And we're live. How's everyone doing? I'm out here in Seattle, Washington. It's another nice day. Seattle type day. You guys probably can't see that, but it's just raining. So I have nothing to complain about. I'm more concerned about y'all in the path of Florence. So give me a shout if you guys have power and you are out there. Hey Bob, how's it going, man? Give me a shout if you guys are out in the path of Florence and if you're hanging in there. All right, because that's no joke with the flooding and everything. And something that I was just kind of, I don't know, thinking about, was how when there's these big floods, I'm going to get myself situated here. When there's these big floods, sometimes we don't even think about it, but there's actually a really big toll on the local fish population. Obviously, care about people. Not trying to belittle any of that, but I'm just mentioning that, like in Florida, when there's a hurricane every year, all those invasive species that are in one lake already, they come out and they go all over the place. So that's how we have, crazy snakeheads all over the place. And this area hasn't been hit like this by a hurricane in a really long time, to this level of flooding and everything. So it may cause some interesting things with the fish. So just keep an eye out for that. That's just my little thought of the day. Bob, I know you're in here, so welcome. I got some plants, and I have an unboxing video basically before, and this unboxing video was about what is up, Brandon. Some wind from here in Tennessee, rain the next few days. Yeah, I bet it'll be rainy. Let's see here. Can I get these comments to stay up? There we go. Brandon, what's up? Bob. Okay, great. So, I was going to say that I had an unboxing video a couple days ago, but I haven't put it up yet. There was a minor technical issue, so I'll get it up later. Zilgil, hey, what's up, man? But I figured while I'm chatting with you guys, I was just going to start, wow, that keeps focusing weird. I'm going to, maybe if I get everything, let me try to get everything in the same, so it's not looking behind me as much, maybe. We'll focus down here on, hold on. We'll focus on what I'm working on. Betsy, how are you doing? How is that kidney stone, my friend? I'm sorry for your pain and this ongoing insanity that is your life with that kidney stone. Sorry. All right. Well, maybe I can't set up the the tripod with this. Maybe I'll do it later. But I just thought that I'd chat with you guys, and I was going to show you guys a couple things that I got from Aquatic Arts. While I have it, the non-living critters, they're downstairs in quarantine right now. But I got a piece of cholla wood that is a Y shape, which I always like the cholla wood. I should just open this. That's in unusual shapes. Let's see. See, I need my handy wife or my handy Ben. My filmers, they help me keep everything in focus. This phone wants to focus on everything but me, I think. It decides it wants to focus on the background and then whatever. But how are you guys all doing today? What's the word? Anybody having any troubles with their tank? Anybody having successes? I just wanted to mark that this is the 40th live episode of the show, and so that's fun. I also wanted to mark that I have started compiling some lists of some video ideas that are keep my hands away from my face, maybe. Will that help? I might have to flip it around to the other camera. But I wanted to make some videos that are back to history again. I mean, I've been trying to weave it in with the videos I've made lately, But I want to get back to where the channel started again a little bit more, and those videos take longer, and I've just been mentally not quite as ready to make those videos. But I think I'm getting better to the point where, like, I have probably 4 or 5 hours, like 2 in the midday and 2 in the evening, where I have pretty good clarity and can work on some of these videos that I'd like to get out. But one that I'd really love to do, and I'd love to hear your guys' suggestions, is I'd love to do a video of what plants look like with fertilizers and CO2 and like highlight versus what they look like in a low light tank with like nothing done to it, and then what they look like on land, and compare the 3 versions of the plant. And I can do that actually today, and that was my plan, was to do that with a couple plants that I was going to show you right here. So I plan on doing that with a couple plants that I have in here right now. So do you guys want to just jump in on that? I mean, that seems like as good a plan as any. So let's see here. Oh, my chat's not scrolling. Let's see here. Sorry, guys. Super stoked the past hour. What's going down, Bob? Do you know if white alder cones will work like black? Yeah, totally. Alder cones are alder cones, essentially. I've only used white alder cones, honestly. So, yeah, I know. I saw that Lucas went live. Tank the mascara barbs, 12 of them. Oh, you got the Goldie Eye Decais? Oh my goodness. Hey, Chung, what's up, man? Please contact me outside of here. You can contact me. Facebook's great. I've got a Facebook group by the same name, and then just find me and you can message me. Or email. My email's not a secret. It's alexanderjwilliamson@gmail.com. Alexander J. Williamson. Yeah. What's up, man? Am I in trouble? Brandon Duran, sweet, good to know. Yeah, Bob, I would love to see some pictures in our group if you could, once you get a hold of those babies, because, man, I thought either you or Bentley Pasco would be the one to flip out and try to get those, the Goldie Eyes, because those are beautiful. And his mascara barbs are really pretty, too. In Seattle, we're fortunate enough to have mascara barbs available to us, but he has some nice ones. Like, I don't know what collection point they're from, but or if he just keeps them very well. Oh, okay, cool, Chung. Thank you. You don't know who got the other 6, huh? I wonder if it was Bentley. I hope it was Bentley. For his sake, just because he loves rainbow fish so much. Watch is probably, hey, preppy shrimp. For a second I read pimple shrimp. Sorry, I don't know what's wrong with me. So, in the recent, I'm gonna show you what this moss looks like. So here we've got, I don't even know what kind of moss it is. Let me take a look. Oh, it's willow moss. So here we got some willow moss, and this is what it looks like when it's above ground, when it's grown on like a plate or something like that. You can see it's all furry and dense and wet, and the longest pieces are maybe, I don't know, like this long. So then let's take a look at what that moss does when it's underwater, because I said I'd be showing you guys what the plants do. Okay, so first of all, let me explain what's going on here. So in this tank, I have 2 of my Pseudomagil Gertrude, Gertrude Arutus, and they're used to spawning in this, I don't know, this mop that I made, this green one. And so I've put it back in the tank and they will spawn on it, even though there's all this wonderful greenage for them, but they're spawning on it. So good for them. But I wanted to show you what that same moss will do underwater. And I can see a piece of it here. And underwater, it grows out into these great little trees. You probably know this if you're at all familiar with plants in the tank, but I just figured I'd show since I had it sitting right here. So the moss grows out into these little sprigs that look like trees, and you can kind of get them to bend into like bend to your will. So under here, I'm actually just growing a ton of moss. In here, same deal. There's just boosts and moss growing under here. There's just boost plant after boost plant under there with a few petals on each getting light. And then the moss is kind of just barely holding on. Sorry about all the bubbles. The CO2 is up fairly high. The next thing I figured I'd show you guys is, so you see this, these are my A-grade blue shrimp, by the way, which I'll be opening up for sale soon here, as well as some of these tiger endlers, but they're not going to be these ones that Lucas has. Sorry about the glare, guys. I wouldn't do like that. I wouldn't just take a strain someone else has come up with and sell it. So what I will be doing is I will be selling basically the my version of the strain, which has slightly different markings that I've been working for, I guess we're on 7 or 8 generations. So yeah. And then these blues I've been working on to get them so that they're like a topaz clear color, but just the same consistent blue all the way through. Those ones are in the shadow, but like this one in the light is exactly what I want to see. It looks like today I'm going to need to go through tonight. I hadn't even looked at the tank, but from far away it didn't look like a problem. Up close, I'm starting to get the microscopic biofilm on the glass, on the inside, obviously. And my autosynclus, I guess, is just not doing his job. Look, he's not even like eating. So, and the nearite snails aren't doing their job either. So I'm gonna have to put the hammer down on these guys. But yeah, so this is a red tiger cryptspiralis. And let me go ahead and show you what those look like when you buy them in tissue form. And you can tell how much moss I got from Aquatic Arts. This is like a portion of moss. I don't know what the heck I'm gonna do with all this moss. Like, I honestly don't know where to put it. So I'll figure out that bit later. But that's a good problem to have, right? So that's how I like to open these cups. Do you dip your new plants when you get them? Yes, I do. Let's see here. I'm gonna read the other comment that I missed too. Send me the moss. I might. You know what? Betsy sent me a filter for a tank because 2 of mine crapped out on me on the same day, and I was just like, I was having a bad day anyways, and I was just like, you know what? I was so frustrated, and she just kind of like picked up on that and then sent it to me, and that really meant a lot because Betsy, you really, like, you don't know it. I mean, or maybe you do, but you really, really, really brightened my day by doing that when I, a day later or whatever, get a friggin' filter and I didn't have anything, to spend on filters. Some of this stuff, I guess I traded some things for, some work for, but I don't have cash for it. And so it's kind of like, that really meant a lot that somebody, like that you thought about that I had an issue and you helped out. That means a lot. I wish I could do more of that, but even sending people stuff limits me somewhat. But plants I can spend like $8 and send out. So I've been sending out more plants in general, but this is what the red crypt tiger spiralis looks like when it's young and in its little gel form. I love the feeling of this gel. Some people hate it, but here you can see where they inoculated it. Actually, you can see here, here, where all the little swirls start basically, and then it looks like ramen noodles. But yeah, you can see. So what I'll do is I'll be soaking that in this mix here and let the gelatin part kind of break up. You know, the other thing I did, Betsy, and now Lucas Bretz is the only one left with it, is I killed my beautiful Nymphea micrantha lotus. I I seriously almost cried. Like, that was that same day, and I was trimming a plant from behind, and I don't have the dexterity since my lightning strike, and my depth perception's off too, and I went to snip a thing, and I totally cut all the ends off, and I went to feel around to think, oh, good, there's a bulb. Well, there's not a bulb. My Pandagara ate the bulb, or Corey's or somebody in the tank had gnawed away at the bottom of the bulb too, and I think it's just lost. I think it's just gone. But yeah, so just to show you guys again, that is what those little crypt things grow out to. So when you see something in a little jar or a little plastic package and you're like, I don't know, it doesn't look like that good of a deal. That's one plant. So that container that I have over there has 6 at least. And I literally just put them, so any sort of eco soil. You don't need eco soil, but I think I've got a version over here that didn't get any eco soil or CO2 or anything. And I think you'll see the difference. Yeah. So this is what it looks like without anything. Pretty boring. It got bigger. You can see some of the strands from below here, but just not anything remotely as beautiful as you get with the CO2. So it's best not to spend the money on some of those. You should just learn your tank. Also, my green dragon pleco babies are chilling here. This yellow shrimp, I know it's the same one, just hangs out in the middle water all the time. I don't know what its deal is, but it just loves hanging out in that middle water. Yeah, very odd. And it'll come up to the glass and it'll say hi. Chris, what's up? Let's see here. What do you use to dip the plants with? Hold on, I'm gonna make sure I didn't miss anything else. I'd like to see some plant comparisons. I don't have CO2 or even great lights, but there are some big differences between red hygrophily. Yeah, Zilgil, you know what? Let me show you. I'll show you my... Okay, I'll talk to you later, Chung. We'll chat. Have a good night, buddy. Yeah, don't give me a hard time. So this this whole area right here, this whole tank is no CO2. So Zilgil, this whole tank is no CO2 whatsoever. Not highlight whatsoever. This light, you can see how sparse this is. It's just white light. Has a little bit of red, a little bit of blue in it, kind of, but honestly, you can, let's see if you can see anywhere a lot of times on your tank, if you use the side, you can see a prism of how the light breaks down. You can kind of see, I don't know if you can see it like I can, but I can see blue right here, and then a red band. So I'm only seeing blue and red, so it's not like a full spectrum light or anything. It's a cheap $25 light or something like that. But in this tank, like, the Kabamba is fine. It actually has like a nice orange kind of peach color. And this is the purple Kabamba plant right here. And I like the way it looks better with no CO2. This is Rotala butterfly innie, I think. and it has no color whatsoever other than the greens, but it grows nice and dense, and it grows towards the sky, towards the light. When you don't have a strong light, your plants are going to try to grow fast up towards that light because they're assuming that it's the water that's causing the problem. They're assuming that light's not making it down to them, and that the water, they need to get up closer to the surface. And so a lot of times they'll reach. So I just wanted to show you the differences in these baby green dragons. So check this one out. He's like almost a dark gray, and he's got these cool cream bands on him, and he's got almost like a puppy dog eye and tan fins, whereas some of them are, I wish that big guy would turn around. A lot of them have that cream band. Um, Is Kabamba the same as Ambulia? No. No, it is not. Also, by the way, you see these little white dots? Those are from nearite snails. Those are their eggs. They're really annoying, and I think they're unsightly, but they do provide calcium in the tank. Like, they condense the calcium. So, if you don't want to use... I mean, this tank, Scottish Aquatics, what up, man? How's it going? If you don't want to use anything in a tank like this one, like I don't use iron, I don't use easy green, I just use endlers, and I use a bunch of female endlers and this male, and then I steal his baby boys out of the tank. And add a few ladies. Oh, there actually is a boy in the tank that I need to pull out. He's getting there. As soon as they get their color, they come out of the tank. And it looks like there's another one starting to show color right here. If you can see that. He's got color on his tail there. And, but yeah, so this guy originally is from Lucas Bretz line. And I asked him, can you please, please, please try to get me one with blue all the way around the tail and a spade-shaped tail, because I had gotten some from Aquarium Co-op locally at the store, and that's what I've been breeding at home, is selectively breeding for those. So then he sent me this beautiful specimen, and so I cut that into the gene pool, and so now a lot of mine have that really nice, I call it fire and ice tail, because there's actually some red in the center of his tail also when he gets excited, when he's like doing his mating dance and stuff, and then there's blue on the outside. So that's my little twist on his tiger stripe line. Mine are more leopard or slightly tiger stripe, but they're more that blue and yellow. Yeah, Betsy, you totally have. Betsy has some too. But as I was saying, Zill, oh, nice. Scotty, you started breeding your rice fish? Sweet, dude. I'd love to come see it. I still need to get up to your place. I can drive soon, I think. I drove around the neighborhood the other day, and I did okay. My depth perception's really off, but like I know what it should be. It's just I gotta give myself a lot of space, not drive during rush hour, maybe. Oh, with your pea puffers, Swag Skywalker, Nerd Boy, Aquatics. Yeah, I'll show you the pea puffers in a minute too. Everyone that's come over is like, "How do you have pea puffers with other animals? They're gonna die. They're gonna die. Get them out of there!" Like, call 911 at my house. And no, it works out if you know what your fish are like. But yeah, so the easy ways to get color into a tank, if you're not going to even put iron in, like if I put iron in this tank, I'd get some red out of this. Man, I hear something going off. Must be the neighbor's fire alarm. Neighbor not adjoined to my house, luckily. Photos in the group, Scotty. Yeah, totally. Let's see here. So yeah, I mean, you can get Kabamba. The purple Kabamba has some color to it in a normal tank without any lights or anything. This is red metallic crypt. Sorry. Here. This is stargrass here. Let's see. I know all the colors look just like washed out green if I don't get close enough. And then I'm trying to see if there's anything else that has a little bit better color in this tank for you to see. Some of the crypt undulata, if I were to put iron supplements in this tank, this crypt undulata would be like a burgundy color. Um, and then same with back here, this is Vietnam Sunset Rotala, and you can kind of maybe, I don't know if you guys can see the pinkish at the top crowns a little bit and yellow. Um, but let me show you what that's, and actually this here's some floating, and you can see when it's close to the light, just having a better light. Look how much more color you have than down below. Right here, here's some sunset hygrophila down here. You can probably see the color in that. Okay, I don't know. It's kind of a peach color. But that's the tank that has no CO2, no easy green, nothing's going on in it as far as plant care. And I just kind of wanted to see how it'd do. I put root tabs in it a year ago. That I should say that. Um, and then over here, this tank, this has good lights. I would say like medium to high lights, and these are two 30-watt spots. And just the difference of light. And I had CO2 on this way back. It's been a while since I've consistently had it on there, so it's as good as not having CO2, but it does have this. I don't use Easy Green anymore on this. I use this ADA General Brighty Green, and this stuff's kind of expensive. I mean, it's like $1 worth of stuff, and it's like $15 for a pump bottle, but I don't want to go buy 10-pound bags of whatever and mix them together and then put them in a bottle and, deal with industrial size amounts of things so I can save the money. I just, it's not worth it to me at this stage in my hobby. So yeah, but hey, what's up? Is it Kroger or Quilgown Marcus? Just want I don't want I want to say your name right. Let's see here. What's the difference between tiger endlers and yellow jacket endlers? Yeah, people just make up a name. Once you have a line that has been established and is getting around, I mean, a name has got to come from somewhere, and really, Posilias are its name because they're probably all just semi-related to guppies and to endlers. Most endlers have some guppy blood in them. I have some. This is what a guppy slash endler mix looks like. These spotted ones with the orange. Whereas this all orange guy, he's a pure endler. I mean, close to it, probably in the 90% pure. And then I have some white cloud, or not white cloud, blue cloud. I don't know why they're called that. Or blue. Sorry, I messed it up a bunch of times. Blue sky endlers that are pure also, and I only have one of them, and he is this guy right here that's showing off right now. Well, let's see if I can get him in focus again. Come on. He's got a real switchback in his tail, and he's got a full he's got a full oval tail with no color in it or anything. But all these guys are, I'm going to sell these. I need to get rid of these guys ASAP. These are the older generations of my blue project downstairs. And those guys are Japanese blue endlers with tiger endler crosses and also with wild endler Venezuela collection point 13 or something like that. I can't remember. It doesn't matter to me that specifically. And so I usually assume I'm not selling to anybody who cares that much when I'm mixing and blending to make a fish that I aesthetically like, that I like the look of. You know, if I have a certain collection point, like Pseudomcgill or Endler, that would be the marketing factor, and I would keep it totally separate from all these mutts. But these guys are just here because I like their looks. Yeah. So what Betsy just said, here are the hold still. There's one of those tiger endlers in the background. And then here's different degrees of mixes with those tigers. So a tiger and a blue look like this. You see the yellow on his top fin, and then the fact that he has a lyre tail. That's what I'm going for. So that's the generation before the one that I consider dialed in. Now I've got it dialed in downstairs. I have the two males that look about like what I want all the fish to look like. And now it's a matter of just breeding and pulling out and breeding and pulling out and making that line truer and truer. And then cutting in some fresh blood. Because there's some that come out like this. So you see, whoa, sorry. Like this guy right here, he's blue and he's a mix between the leopard endler, but he only got the spots on his fin and the lyre tail and then a little bit of yellow on the back of his tail. But he doesn't have the yellow fin like this guy. So this guy has the yellow spotted fin up top, whereas the other guy only has the blue spotted fin. So, I mean, it's just little things like that that you're looking out for and then selecting for and so on and so forth. So, let's see here. I have 2 colonies of true Capoma endlers. They breed like rabbits, which is nice exchange for the fish food at your fish store. Yeah, those are nice. I like those. And as I was saying, so this tank, no CO2, not necessarily high tech. I'm not using Easy Green, which is the one that everyone seems to know online lately. But I am using ADA. This stuff has no nitrogen in it, and that's why I use it, because these fish poop enough. They make enough nitrogen. They breathe and move a lot, so they make enough CO2. I mean, it's not crazy CO2, but I'm getting CO2 as if I had about a bubble per second in this 40 gallon, which is actually, I mean, that's fine. And so you can see what a difference compared to that tank over there, the color you can get by just those differences, by overstocking your tank. Your Altherna renicii looks real pink like it should underneath. The Kabamba is kind of lanky. Let's see here. That's a saffron. What's it called? Saffron. I can't remember the name of it. Sorry, guys. But then here we've got different Ludwigias, Ludwigia oculata, and Lacustris X. What is it? Ludwigia X lacustris. And then down in here we got some Pogostemon erectus and Ludwigia. It's like a bright purple underneath, actually. You can see some of the purple going on there, and I like the way those kind of walk out. Still, the Rotalas don't get the color like they do with the CO2. I mean, you see a little bit of color like here and there, like some peach or orange crawling in, but it's not real reliable. But I would say if you don't have CO2, you can get a stronger light, and then what I would do is get get it heavily dialed in with a fish where they can tolerate it. You're not going up past 30 or 40 parts per million or anything crazy like that as their daily. But then just keep it there and let that the nitrates kind of be high for the tank, and let the light, if you can get a good light, spotlight or something, use that. If it's a deep tank, just use a nice light otherwise. And like the Rotala undulata, you guys probably can't see it here, but it's purple to me. Like looking down there, it's like a purpley color. So let's hop over back to CO2 tank, and you'll see the huge difference with Rotala. So like Rotalas, Here's rotalas that have been in CO2. They have super bright colors. You can like crank it way up. Here's the Ludwigia ex lacustris too. You can crank it up, and then obviously some rotalas are just going to be green because that's how they roll. But some of them are really beautiful, like these little purple. These are like Macronda, uh, or butterfly. Sorry about the algae. Looks bad. Looks real bad. Sorry, guys. But yeah, you can see how dark of a purple shade you can get in there, and you can get nice oranges and yellows out of CO2 and all your proper ferts and iron. For the red, you need the iron. I cleaned this a week ago, so we're getting some heavy algae, which means that I don't have the tank dialed in right now. It's come off its base, where I like it to be, so I'll need to dial that in. It's good to keep track, but I just love this, how this looks there. That's how I see it, right, like that. It's just beautiful. And then also the sunset hygrophila, just, I actually trimmed this, but you can see how I see it. It's very kind of psychedelic, trippy looking plant. What species? Oh, let me read some comments and stop being a slacker. Stop being a yacker. You get Mr. Water Chicken says, welcome, Mr. Water Chicken. I get plecos usually when I start getting brown or green algae in my tank, and every time I keep them, they eat all the algae and won't eat any algae wafers. I throw in and they starve. Oh wow, that's rough, buddy. Yeah, that's also my question, is which type of pleco, and if they're bristlenose, that's weird. Um, I would recommend trying different brands, perhaps. Also frozen food as suggested. They will eat also bloodworms and things at night. It's very, very key to feed them at night after dark. If you're having feeding issues, if they don't come out in the day, feed them at night. I know that's a pain. It can be 6 in the morning if it's still dark or whatever, but at night, plecos of all species are a completely different animal than you would ever recognize at night. Same with all catfish. Yeah, cucumbers, I would blanch or like flash boil my zucchini if I were you. And then the other thing is, don't let it sit in there too long. It's going to try to float, so weight it down with something. They sell little skewers that weight things down, but I usually just put a rock in the center and cut a big long one and let it sit there. But if it sits too long and your bacteria is out of whack, then you'll end up with like water mold, as they call it, or water rot, which is like white bacteria that's cloudy. It's not harmful, usually, most forms, but it is unsightly. So just make sure you pull the zucchini or whatever it may be out of there. When they're really young, they can't eat the zucchini super or the other foods really well, like beans. They can't get through that tough outer layer. So I would get like French cut, or if you get like snap peas or something, break those open for them, and they will eat that up. They will love that. Don't have anything salted or anything like that. Just like, you can get a can of French cut green beans, or I guess what would julienne cut would probably work too. Julienne. I have to mention though, this wafer brand, I hate it. It says 2-in-1, like there's, one's like brine shrimp and one's whatever, spirulina, like they have 2-in-1. Plecos won't friggin' touch it. They won't touch it. What I have to feed my plecos, is it up here right now? Testing, 1, 2, testing. Yeah, this is what I have to feed all of my bristlenose. Algae wafers. Pretty much what's in these. Just spirulina, I believe, if I remember what these are. But these also have all their daily vitamin A, D, E, uh, their and their protein. It has like 38%. But let's see, ingredients. Oh, fish meal, wheat flour, dried. Okay, so maybe this isn't the best stuff, like if you're trying to raise show level fish, but they will eat this. They like eating it, and so do cories and stuff. And this is just the Hikari algae wafers for bottom feeders. They really like that. At least all my bristlenose do. So in here, oh, it's out. My calico bristlenose, which is basically the same thing as a green dragon. I mean, come on, people. The browns, the green dragons, if they get mixed at all, they turn into, like, people will call them calicos or whatever, but they're all kind of just different bristle noses. Like that one on top, supposedly, is a green dragon. I mean, I know it came out of my green dragons. But look, it almost looks like what I was sold as a brown calico. Or a Cheese Creek, I believe, is what it was sold as. I didn't pay big money for it or anything. I just traded, but somebody was selling them for big money, and so I don't know. Just get what you like, unless you're really serious about breeding, uh, because people will sell you the moon, and don't get mad when you get Mars. Let's go downstairs. I hope I don't lose you guys. The internet's been kind of crappy. I don't know if the weather has something to do with it or what. It shouldn't, but you know. Okay. Stick with me. Stick with me. Okay. So I was going to show you guys a sneak peek at my newest companions. Of course, they hit the deck immediately. They're in quarantine right now, but these are adult L144 yellow blue eyes. They have some boo-boos right now, and I'm trying to figure out if it was the heater or he got into a scrap with another pleco of mine, or what the deal is, but he's with his partner. They're alone, cordoned off, because one of my starlight plecos passed away this morning, or yesterday, and I was really sad about that. But let's see, can we see any of the starlights in here right now? Hold on. So the starlights, I was afraid at first that they might get heater burn because they do hang out dangerously close to the heater. But yeah, Rapashi Bottom Scratcher is good too for a lot of plecos, especially the meat-eating ones. My plecos, most bristlenose, are not what you would call meat eaters. They don't eat like meat primarily as their food source. They will eat bugs and leftovers and stuff. Where are you? I'm struggling to even find the two in here. They hide so. Oh, there we go. So here is one of my starlight plecos. I just kicked up all the leaf and dirt debris. But here's a starlight pleco. There we go. I know that is confusing looking right now. Can we get glare off of there? But he's got a blue stripe on his tail, and he naturally has some like blotchiness, but it's been more pronounced since that scrap. And so I'm really welcoming them. This whole tank has had erythromycin, fungus cure, general cure, And did I say erythromycin first? But in any case, so it's had the treatment of those, 50% water change, and then tomorrow we'll have more. Um, Bug bite, yeah. For bug bites, I have. Where is it? My room's a worse mess than it's ever been right now. I really need to clean it up, like my fish room. But I do have some bug bites that they were digging on. Where are they? I don't know. They're bug bites for bottom feeders, and they're shaped like little or like little turds, and they're okay, but yeah, my cories and other fish seem to pick at them more. Like my endlers pick at them. Here's the bluer grade of endlers that I'm raising up down here. You see how the blue really stands out in the tails? Even though this is a crappy light, the blue is like iridescent all throughout these endlers. And so they're like Lucas's, but I took the traits that I liked and I maximized them. As for the leopard endlers upstairs that I was showing you, here is the culmination of what I wanted. I'd like the fin to be more dotted, but I've learned that that's an easier trait to get than the yellow leer tail. And then the yellow spots in the tail is even harder to get. And so he will be the chosen one, because if I can get him to maintain to his babies those spots on his tail, then he'll pass all that down. This is another one that I kind of like, so I haven't pulled him out. So there's 3 males in here, and we'll see what happens. If you don't know about endlers and guppies, check out one of my recent videos on the genetics of them and how they pick mates, because endlers and guppies can pick a mate and they can just decide that they don't want that one, and if they've ever been exposed to a better male, they can save those eggs for up to 2 years probably, which is their life in the wild, by binding this little protein to the sperm's tail of the from the males. And so what they do is the females, when they mate with the males, whether they want to or not, the males are going to do it. And what they do to control it is they can either reject all of the male's DNA altogether, and they'll do that at a time once he's out of sight. Or what they'll do is they'll say, okay, that DNA is okay. He's not like my uncle or something. Because first they'll get rid of any DNA that is their family. They don't want related DNA unless there's no one else around and population numbers are low. They are very, very adverse, what's the word? They don't like mating with relatives. And they'll do it for one generation. After that, they will go out of their way to not do it. It's pretty incredible. They've put as few as 3 guppies in a pond, and by 10 generations later, the guppies are like as genetically diverse as they could be. So yeah. All right, let's see here. I feel like I'm missing chat. Why spend so much money? I have a garden. Yeah, garden's always a good place for food for your plecos. The States, gardens aren't as big as they used to be way back in our grandparents' generation. My grandparents, probably a lot of you's parents. I don't know, maybe your great-great-grandparents. Let's say the 1940s and earlier, World War II and earlier, gardens were, every house had one pretty much. In Seattle, that's pretty common. In the city, I would say probably 40 or 50% of houses seem to have some sort of garden. Down here is my green dragons. Here are more of my here are my Well, there's nothing to look at. You guys are probably like, I don't see anything. Well, I don't either. Where is everybody? Oh, okay. So here are my RU2s that are growing out. These guys are 2 months old and they grow so slow. Rainbow fish and Pseudomagills are so slow at growing. Grow faster, guys. Here's another one down here. But then I've also got blue shrimp chilling out all throughout here probably. Yes. Okay, good. I was like, I think they're in here somewhere. But yeah, they're hanging out. There's a lot of babies in here. I kind of take the adults and grade them into low end, high end. This will be a high end for sure. That's a male too, and he's just beautiful. He's gonna produce really, really beautiful babies because the males are usually the lower, duller looking shrimp. Up here are my lower grade shrimp. These are like my C grade shrimp probably. And these I'll sell for like $5 a piece usually, or even less sometimes. But they're still like good looking blue shrimp. I mean, they're still a solid blue shrimp pretty much with maybe they have like light blue on their back carapace, and then their head has a darker blue, and that's what them disqualified. Or they're so navy blue like this guy that he just didn't go with the rest. So you'd probably still pay good money for those if you bought them through someone. And those are Lucas's line. Okay, I'm gonna put the camera on this tank right now, and then I'll answer the questions. Whoa, you guys got to see how dirty the glass is. I got some new neorites, and the thing they seem to be pro at is climbing out of the damn tank. So, I don't know. I try to stop them. This one we call Cracky. He's fallen out 14 times that I've counted. My wife and I keep putting him back in, but he'll make his way into the kitchen on the hardwood floor upstairs. And I don't know how he hasn't died, but he can keep a seal on that hardwood floor. Question. Josh on YouTube. I have a 29-gallon 7 Serpe. I'm assuming that's not Serape, and that's Serpa tetras. 7 red eye tetras, red eye lemon tetras. Is that what they are? And 10 sparkling gouramis, maybe. Is that too much? None have died in 4 months. No, that's totally fine. 7, 7, 10. No, you're fine. In theory, don't do this unless you know what you're doing. And if you're asking about it, I would say that you shouldn't do it right away. But the inch per gallon rule is not correct. I mean, this tank is 40 gallons, and I could put double what's in here in theory right now. They all hang out up front. I've designed this tank so they will all hang out on in this front trough. But there's a bunch of water back there where my plants are that keep everything clean. And then there's 2 filters, lots of airflow, oxygen into the water. But everyone hangs out up front. So it looks like I have a tank full of fish, even though they're all just hanging out in 1/3 of the water. And they can get out of the way if they really need to, like back in here. But no one does except for my green dragons and my little pandagaras. I love them. But yeah, so I would say that let's see here. Dun, 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 dun. Lids, Alex. Yeah, I know I need lids. That your serpes are picking on each other sometimes. Yeah, all tetras can be nippy. My orange eye lemon tetras, they are really nippy towards each other, and they were towards the endlers until I threw in some Siamese algae eaters, and the Siamese algae eaters shut them up. Like, not that the Siamese algae eaters actually like fight them, but they look big, they move fast, and they like break up the fight like instantly. For me, in my case, the other thing I've noticed is get a fish that looks imposing or or moves quickly, and just see how that goes. If that breaks things up a little bit, like a blue gourami maybe. But although its feelers might get hurt on these females. The males are rather vicious in these blue dwarfs, but the females have these antennae down below that can get injured. But in this tank, they're totally peaceful. These guys totally. I don't have anybody nipping anybody in this tank, which I'm really happy with right now. And the honey gouramis aren't fighting with the other gouramis, so that's good. Let's see here. Little piranhas, I call them. Yeah, are Epistogramma cockatoides easy to keep? Yeah, they definitely are. Bob, thank you so much. $25 super chat from Bob for meds or whatever is needed most. Thanks for streams and history vids. As you know, they're everything for me. Hope to get a couple of the longfin green dragons when ready. Totally, man. Bob, you have free fish coming your way. Anyways, I haven't shipped a lot of fish in my life. I've just sold locally mostly, but I will try to get you some. You know what I might do is ask a friend who's good at shipping to pack them, show me how. I mean, I know in theory how to do it. I've shipped some that have made it and everything, but I get nervous. But thank you so much, Bob. And you know I love the history stuff. That's what I'd do if I felt like it's all people wanted to see, and if I had enough time between each one, and if whatever. But yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. You are always so generous, Bob. Um, okay, so let's see here. Verana ID, guys. So I was dumb and I didn't do much maintenance on my Windelov Java fern, and it propagated a ton, but it also killed a bunch of leaves, and I couldn't figure out why until it dawned on me. What dawned on you? Because the Java ferns, they just die back a lot anyways. Like, I had these Java ferns that were like this tall. They were like 1.5 feet tall or something ridiculous. And they just die all the time and new pieces break off. And then I forgot about them. And like 4 or 5 months later, I have pieces that big again all over the place. Java fern is designed to just like break off, multiply, unless you're tending to it very carefully and keeping it in specific lighting. Down here, this is that same red tiger Crypspiralis and the Rotala red butterfly innie. Also the moss, when it's under high light, it stays nice and proper, prim and proper. Here is Limnophilia aromatica, this purple one with the purple underneath. The stargrass right here. So this is the lotus that I killed. So there's one piece left that had a slight piece of root, and we'll see if it makes it. I'm almost positive it won't. This is super red Ludwigia here. This stuff's great if you can't grow carpeting plants, if you're not good at it. Hydrocotyle tripartite, or the other name is, there's also reticulatus, or there's the big old pennywort, like this stuff here. But this stuff grows pretty well, and you don't need to even plant it necessarily. See some back there that's not even tucked into anything. And it'll wrap around stuff however you would like. So that's a good option if you're new to carpeting plants, or you don't have a ton of CO2. That'll help a lot. That's a good plant. Stargrass, just like you saw, it looks the same here as it does upstairs where I don't have CO2. The Crypt undulata looks pretty much the same with no CO2 or ferts. This plant I'm loving, and I got it, and it was sold to me by another club member as this isn't an aquatic plant. It's from, where'd they say it was from? I don't know. I think they said Afghanistan or Pakistan, and it's growing really like wiry. And I had a piece like this big, but I really like it's like glosso on a chain or something. I need to figure out the name of that. If anybody knows the name of that plant, please let me know because I really like that one. Uh, all right, let's see here. Back to the chat. Yeah, pistogrammas also really good. Those are a good, not maybe not first time. Oh heck yeah, I'll say first time. Those are good fish for if you're starting in cichlids, you want to breed. They're a pretty easy one. You just need a little coconut cave like such, some leaf litter like such, and then plants help a lot. But just give them territories. They get territorial when they fight, but they raise their own babies. So, like, you don't have to worry about them eating their babies, just like dwarf cichlids and a lot of African cichlids, a lot of the lake cichlids. Uh, they just kind of take care of themselves as far as when they have birth. So, the real thing you have to watch is the water parameters. So, the cockatoides or others I would totally recommend on the epistogrammae. Let's see. Yeah, like the Java ferns here. I've got Java fern randomly growing in here. Java fern random. These all broke off from large pieces upstairs months ago. Here is the newest crop of. I don't know. These are supposed to be short fins. I keep being told by the guy who I got these from that they throw long fins, and some of them are like halfway long, halfway short. Like their tails are definitely long, but I don't feel comfortable calling them long fin green dragons. So I'm waiting on these guys, theirs to grow up. They've only thrown a couple babies, and I want them to hurry up and throw more. Uh, what's the substrate in that Endler tank? This substrate is it is fluorite, sand, and gravel. And if you look closely, the fluorite's like a gray fluorite. The sand is just a coarse sand, white sand. And then the gravel is from Home Depot. It's just stream gravel. And then I throw a couple bigger rocks in because I've got shrimp in here too, like such. And so I like to make sure that they all feel cozy and they can hide in between the bigger rocks. And also on that note too, there, if I can see any around, they hide a lot. And you can see there's babies all over this tank. So these Japanese blues, hopefully in about 2 months, I should have just a ton of babies of those Japanese blue endlers, and these guys too. There's a bunch of babies all throughout here. Although my Julii corridors are also making babies. It's very odd. I don't ever see their eggs. It's a mystery to me. I love it. I love that they breed, but I'll just find one that's like this big and looks like an adult, like this one here, and they just grow up from there. It's like they're hiding somewhere, and I don't know where, and I never see the eggs. And that's probably a good idea because the Tatia mosaica in here, my ninja woodcats, will eat the eggs and the babies quickly. So there's that. All right, I'm gonna go back upstairs. Also, if you're just tuning in now, I wanted to say it again because I mean it. But for everybody in the path of Florence, please, please, please be safe. Don't go do anything silly. If you still have power, that is. You probably don't have power if you're right in the path at this point and watching me. Let's see here. Opinion. Josh on YouTube. For all tetras tank, what's your opinion on bloodworms, Daphnia, tube worms? I was thinking of switching one. That's a lot of protein. They do eat a lot of protein. I would feed them. Um, I would feed them bloodworms, maybe bloodworms or Daphnia, maybe 5 days a week or something like that, or 4 days a week, and then switch it up with something like flake food or vegetarian food. People always are afraid of flake food, but sometimes, it's got spirulina. It's not just like, it's not going to kill your fish. And fish need days off from eating. They don't, okay, let me rephrase that. They don't need days off, but like my orange-eyed lemon tetras, uh, they're all fat and sassy, and I'll give them bloodworms a couple times a week. The uh, the puffer fish in here, the 6 puffers, are the ones who really want the bloodworms. And then I'll throw in ram snails. The other thing I do for my tetras, and this is a little bit more work, but you can try it out, is I will take some extra ram's horn snails or pond snails from my other tanks. I'll crush them up, and then I'll just throw them into the top. Well, not throw, but I'll gently place them at the top of the water so that they float. And the tetras love hunting down, like feeling like that they nailed, that prey floating down towards the bottom. If you can get them mosquito larvae, it's kind of getting towards the end of that time of year where you grow them in your yard so easily, where I'm at anyways. But mosquito larvae is great for them. Blackworms, vinegar eels are a little small, but for your smaller tetras, I mean, you could even get some ember tetras or, well, the silver tip tetras get bigger, but yeah, I mean, the eel, the vinegar eels are a really easy one. Varanid ID guy. Once a week, once or twice a week, I do a huge feeding to make sure the bottom dwellers get enough cories, CPOs, etc. Oh, nice, you got CPOs. But that means the rams and the tetras get a massive amount of food. I'll just not feed the next day. Yeah, or just do a water change. Because fish will eat and eat. Usually, most species will just eat and eat. Let's see here. Do do do. I always get sidetracked by your guys' conversation. Sorry. Let's see here. Bob messaged me outside of this and gave me a thumbs up on Facebook. So, crack me up. Yeah, CPOs are not allowed in our state, but I used to have a lot of them, and I still love them. And if I had some someday again, I'd be happy about it. So these tetras, they get nippy on you. I got some fire ring danios. Leopard danios don't work out. Don't do that. But these fire ring danios up here that are a little bigger than an Endler, they're about as long as the orange eye tetras. They break things up nicely. They move very quickly. They don't have any fins that hang out that get them screwed up. And then for you, I would say though that more is more with some of your tetras. So if your tetras are acting funky, sometimes they just need more in their group. Like as long as your water conditions are fine and you've got like a good amount of plants to keep them hiding and stuff, and open space. So like this tank, there's open space. I know it looks crowded, but there's actually open space all throughout here. There's open space, and there's hiding spots, and there's hiding spots up high with plants and down low. So everybody can duck away when they're not feeling the party. And that's how I keep this tank at almost triple the inch long rule, and the nitrates are pretty balanced. So hold on, let me set this down for 1 sec. I got to take my jacket off. Yeah, but that's how I manage that. Is I give them lots of hiding spots, and I don't feed them a ton. And then what I do feed, I make sure that like the bottom dwellers, they get their algae wafers like way over here, while I do some flake food for all these nutcases. And about probably 30 of these nutcases are gonna go goodbye tomorrow or the next day to the pet store. And then these guys are quick enough and vicious enough. Same with the black neon tetras. They're great. The other one that I would highly recommend as a peaceful tetra for anybody watching, that schools beautifully if you've got like a 30 or 40, 55, whatever gallon tank, something that's sizable, rummy nose tetras. Especially if you put something slightly scary in there. Not scary in the sense that it'll hurt them, but scary in the sense like I've got some cribs in here that are really big. There's a male crib that's like 5 inches or 6 inches long somewhere down in there. And he hides most of the day, but he'll come out and everyone parts ways for him. And same with these Danios. They chase things around, but the tetras, the red nose, rummy nose tetras, they are awesome. I love them. They school together really tightly when they think there's a threat. And just make it so that the quote unquote threat is one, not stressing them out all the time, and two, not actually a threat. That's like a good dither. Is either something peaceful, like plecos, your plecos that weren't eating, by the way, whoever was mentioning that. If they have some, as I call them, little dummy dithers, like these guys up top, they're much more comfortable eating below, even if you're feeding them stuff they don't like as much, because they're not stressed. They're not worried. Because if they see shadows of little fish coming down on them below, and they can see the fish above them, and they aren't all freaking out and running, they know there's nothing threatening like a turtle or a caiman or something like that, or coming. There's the big crib right down there, if you can see him. There's nothing down there that's coming to like kill them, and so they're much more chill, much more apt to eat. Plecos really love the dither of small little guys running around the tank. By the way, I got this corkscrew valve from Lucas, and it was, I think, maybe this tall. I cut it and put it in a couple different tanks, and it has grown in 1 week all the way to the very top in one spot. So, kind of cool. LR Bretz Aquatics, great spot. Check them out. All right. Let me read these last questions. Last question time, guys. I've gone over a little bit, but thank you so much for joining me, Bob. Thank you so much for the super chat. Special thanks to Aquatic Arts for sending me some extra plants, which you guys will be seeing in the future too. I'll be doing maybe some species profiles. And Bob, as I was saying, like I like the history and stuff. What I'm trying to do is like if I do a species profile, or like this plant came from here, maybe I'll look into what year that was, what the expedition was like, what the medicinal uses are for those plants, things like that, to try to still tie in like the history, evolution, and biology of it all. That's what I tried to do with the bloodworms in the recent videos. So I don't know. I'm trying that out. Let me know if you guys like that. If you don't, if you want me to make history videos, just straight up history videos, like the history of the aquarium, which is like a slideshow that's like an hour and a half long or something total. Or if you kind of like it, a little hybrid of both. And the thing is, some people tune in just to see pufferfish. Some people tune in just to see aquascaping. So I kind of like just touching on a little bit of all of it and all of them, and then when I have time, I'll go really in depth. Okay, I see a question here. I have 50 cardinal neon tetras, 12 rummy nose tetras, 100 red cherry shrimp in my 65. The rummy nose always school separately. Love those guys. Dom, that is a rad tank. If you are on Facebook at all, please, please, please send us a picture of or video of that tank. Check out the Facebook link. I'll put it in this video. I'll probably have to load it after the video's done, or you can go to any of the past recent live streams, or you can just search the secret history living in your aquarium. But oh, I'd love to see that tank. That is like my dream tank. I wanted to do like if I had a 125 gallon or something, I would love to do maybe 100 uh, or 75 rummy nose tetras and like 35 to 50 like panda cories, and then just like a ton of red shrimp or yellow shrimp or something like that. um, Dom, oh, thank you so much for being in the group. I'm sorry, I can't keep everything straight. And as you probably know, if you're in the group, I am like the group is for everybody to chat without. I mean, I pop in, I look at what people are doing, but I want that to be a place for you guys to shine, where I'm not like chiming in unless you guys ask me to. Like you can always tag me and I'll help you out with whatever I can. But I like that to be a place where I get to watch you guys and see who's watching my videos and see what you guys are into, and then I can try to tune in my receptors in my videos to what you guys like, what you guys have, what your problems you've been dealing with are, and all that stuff. So, all right, you guys, have a great night. Take care of each other. Take care of your fish. Let's send out some thoughts. If you can, give a buck or two maybe to the Red Cross for relief. I don't know. Maybe there's a better organization that if you believe in like rescuing just the animals that are going to be stranded from the flooding in Florence or whatever. Um, just think about it a little bit, and do what you can, even if you can't give money. I totally understand that, but do what you can. Maybe you can help somebody out in some way by doing a little chore for them online or whatever it may be. All right, you guys. Take care. Zilgil. Yeah. I will see you later as well. All right, thank you guys. Thank you to the moderator, Betsy. You are my bestie. And Bob, you might as well be a moderator now too. I should just make you one so you can just wield the staff of power whenever you want. All right, good night, guys. Talk to you later.